support for the victims that have unfortunately lost their lives in the ongoing Palestine and the Israel conflict. Well, when we had announced that we are having a candlelight march about a week ago, that time the casualties were 5,000, and I was hoping that that number doesn't exceed. Today, when we are organizing the candlelight march, I say this with a very heavy heart that the casualties have reached to more than 7,000. Now, whether it is Palestine or whether it is Israel, both sides are contributing to the war, because of which innocent civilians are dying. And when I say that 7,000 people have died, we have to consider that countless number of families have been displaced. And sometimes these are the sole bread earners. When they get displaced, entire families get displaced. Children get orphans. For this reason, we have come together to show support for the people who have died. We are not supporting any one side. We are not supporting Israel. We are not supporting Palestine. We are just here for the people who have died in the war. And our country has given us a great man. His name is Mahatma Gandhi, father of the nation we call him. He gave us powerful tools of satyagraha and ahimsa. And through this, he changed the whole world. Not only did he get rid of Britishers, but there are various leaders across the world who follow his principles. So I believe today is the day we have to reiterate the ahimsa and satyagraha, the tools that he has given us, and show the world that yes, peace is possible, war can be ended, and there can be peace once again. Now we will proceed and take a round of the Azad Maidan with the candle, and we'll once again gather here and address. The world doesn't suffer because of bad people. They say the world suffers because of the silence of good people. And I'm glad that today all the good people have come under a common banner, Goans for global peace. They have forgotten their political affiliations. They have forgotten what race they belong to, what background they come from. They all have come under the same name, Goans for global peace. And we are here for the same cause. We are praying for the victims who have lost their lives during the Israel-Palestine conflict, when all the international organizations like United Nations have utterly failed to maintain the world peace. All the diplomatic connections and all the diplomatic talks have completely failed. That is when people have started to awaken themselves. They have started to regain their power, because this is a collective consciousness. That is how the world works. And I'm sure when each and everyone comes out on the street with a candle in their hand and protest against the war that is happening, I'm sure there will be peace all across the world. Having said that, I invite our dear friend Asif Hussain to speak on this issue.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. We have seen in the recent history that many wars have been inflicted on different countries on the basis of lies and pure lies. The first victim of a war is truth and reality. And this is a time when propaganda reaches different people and tries to create division between people. So first thing, as a plural nation, I think we should be very cautious that we should not fall prey to false propaganda and lies that are used to sustain wars. So first thing is, we try to learn the truth, the reality of the issues around us, especially the history of Israel and Palestine conflict. We cannot take sides without knowing the reality and the truth behind this history that is going back to 100 years, nearly a century of conflict between the two people. As my brother Prasenjit just said, the world leaders have utterly failed, and the stark reality is, instead of humanitarian aid reaching the people, US is sending war aircraft or war seacraft to the area. This is ridiculous. In 18 days they could not send trucks waiting to send humanitarian aid to the people. That is an utter failure of the present elected leaders of different nations. So I think it is very important for us to realize the pain of the people that are affected in this unwanted wars that are played upon innocent people across, not only in Palestine and Israel, but across the world. There are many wars that needs to end. I think one of the things that we all need to do is we come together, and many people would ask, what's going to happen with this little candlelight march? It's the pressure that is important. The whole world is awakened to the false pretext on the basis of which wars are made. Wars are created to make business, where innocent people unfortunately have to pay the price for this. I think these words are sufficient to awaken the conscience of all of us, irrespective of caste, irrespective of religion, irrespective of nationality, that we need to put an end to the bloodshed. We all need to collectively tell whatever possible means we have to reach out to our own leaders, to reach out to the world community, world leaders, and tell this has to stop, and it has to stop now before we before we lose any more innocent lives. Thank you.
Businessmen. And even worse is that wars not only destroy human beings' life, but they affect more women and children. And to elaborate more on that, I call upon Tafseen ma'am. She is the teacher in Green Rosary High School. She will illuminate us on how war affects every human being, and more so women and children.
Light on what are wars and what an impact it has on humanity. And even Mr. Prasenjit has spoken very rightly on what is the importance of this peaceful march. So we as common man have gathered here today to have this peaceful march or candle march to send positive vibrations to the people, to send positive vibrations for peace for the people, the victims of both the countries, because they are not at fault. There's nothing harm that they have done. They are only suffering for no fault of theirs. Children are suffering. There's bloodshed everywhere. Small innocent children who've not even seen life have already closed their eyes. So we have gathered here today to send peaceful vibrations for the people and for the head of the country, so that they take the right decision and resolve the matters peacefully. As it was rightly said by Mr. Asif, that wars have never done anything good. They have only led to destruction and unpeaceful situations in the country, where the common man has suffered and no one benefits except for a few small group of people. With that, I would like to end. So may there be peace, and may this matter resolve peacefully, and may there be peace everywhere, all over the world. Thank you.
Is that the implications it has on the psychology of every human being? Not only the family of the victim, but also every citizen of that country. Having said that, I call upon Mr. Praveen, who is a social psychiatric worker. He will illuminate us on the implications that a war has on the psyche of a human being. Praveen.
War, we want peace. मैं अपने देशवासियों को ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि पूरे वर्ल्ड को अपने देश ने पीसफुलनेस सिखाया है. यहाँ से ही शांतता पूरे दुनिया में चली गई है. तो वॉर के बाद आपने देखा कि यहाँ इस देश के भी लोग मर जाते हैं, उस देश के भी लोग मर जाते हैं, दोनों की तरफ से लोग मर जाते हैं. जो मैडम ने बताया अभी कि जो बच्चों ने दुनिया भी नहीं देखी है वो भी चले जा रहे हैं. तो इसके बाद जब ये ऊपर से बॉम्ब गिरता है तो 33,000 के करीब कुछ इमारतें उद्ध्वस्त हुई है गाजा पट्टी में, और इजराइल में भी जो नुकसान हो रहा है ह्यूमन का हो रहा है और फिजिकली भी हो रहा है. तो उसका जो डर पूरे दोनों देश में नहीं होता है, पूरे दुनिया में उसका डर पैदा हो जाता है, और वो डर के वजह से स्ट्रेस, स्ट्रेन, उनकी एंग्जाइटी बढ़ जाती है और साइकेट्रिक प्रॉब्लम निर्माण हो जाते हैं. और फिर वो उनके साइकेट्रिक प्रॉब्लम निर्माण होने के बाद फिर जो आदमी दुनिया को जो प्रोडक्टिव जो काम में आता है वो काम में नहीं आता है, तो उसके ऊपर बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम्स क्रिएट हो जाते हैं। ये यूनो को भी मालूम है, इसलिए यूनो ने सबको बोला है कि आप वॉर मत करो, पीसफुल रहना चाहिए। तो मैं यही संदेश यहाँ पर देना चाहता हूँ कि हमें युद्ध नहीं, हमें शांतता चाहिए, पीसफुलनेस चाहिए। धन्यवाद।
गोवन्स फॉर ग्लोबल पीस ह्या बॅनराचेर हांगा जे सगळे लोक हांगा एकठांय जाल्या, इतले हजारो मायल्स कितें घडटा ताचेर एक निशेधच न्हय की हे बंद जावचें म्हणून। आतां आमी हांगा रावन कितें करूंक शकता? आतांच आमच्या भावान भयणीन सांगलां ते भशेन आमी एक उलो मारूंक शकता। कोण आयकना जाल्यार देव तरी आयकतलो। ह्या भावनाचेर आमी हांगा आज इतलेंच मागता की ह्या भुरग्यांनी कितें रॉंग केलें, ह्या बायलांनी कितें रॉंग केलें, हे इनोसेंट लोक जे मरतात ताणें कितें चूक केली, बेश्टेच तांचो जीव डेली बेसीस तांचो जीव वता। आनी हे इस्रायल हमास आनी काय गाजा पट्टीन कितें जाता ताचेरूच न्ही, सांगलां ते भशेन आख्ख्या ह्या जगान अशें जाता आनी आमच्या देशान सुद्दां अशें जाता। हालींच आमी पळयलां त्रिपुरा कितें जातालें तें। म्हणजे आज 21st सेंचुरीन जेन्ना हे सगळें थांबपाक जाय आसलें आनीक वाडत आसा। आनी कित्याक वाडटा? जितले वाडटा तितले तांच्यो गन फॅक्टरी आनी एम्युनेशन फॅक्टरी तांकां जीव येता, आनी जितले पळय शांती आसता तेंचे हळू तें प्रोडक्शन स्लो जाता। सो हाचो डायरेक्ट परिणाम जो लोकांचेर जाता तो हाका लागून ताणें सांगलां ते भशेन हो एक मोठो ग्लोबल बिझनस, आनी ह्या बिझनसान बळी पडटा एक कॉमन मॅन, कॉमन यंग भुरगीं जाणें आजून फुडारूच पळोवंक ना। आज तांचे मुखार असो फूल हो जग फुडें ओपन आसलो, तांकां ती संदी मेळोंकूच ना। हाचेर म्हणून आमी एक निशेध मारता आनी आमी एक आशा धरता की देवा तूं तरी पाव आनी हे बंद कर आनी शांती हाड।